wasn't until 2020 that I actually sat down and watched Texas Chainsaw.
All right, how do I turn this on?
All right. I just muted myself. Oh my gosh, here we are. Hey, it's Wednesday, and this is the Screaming Room right here on the Ghost Pirate Entertainment channel and the Screaming Room channel. Thanks everybody for joining us. As you can see, I am by myself. We are alone tonight on the Screaming Room. Mr. Ghost Pirate is having a little bit of the illness, and so he is unable to join us. So those of you who are wondering where Mr. Kanan is, that's where he is. He's recovering. So we wish him well, and we're going to have a normal show. And we got some stuff to talk about. We have a couple of trailers that we're going to watch. We have a very interesting video that Nintendo dropped that is very, very creepy and very interesting. So we're going to talk about that. And for those of you who don't know anything about me, because you are watching this from Ghost Pirate channel, I'm going to introduce a little bit more about myself. And if you guys want to head over to the Screaming Room channel to watch this, that would be awesome. And that's what we're really looking for. So thanks again for everybody joining. Leslie's in the chat. Hey, Leslie, how's it going? Good to see you. John is in the chat. How's it going, John? Darth Rock, he's been waiting for a minute. We're good to go. So anyway, so there's some things that I wanted to talk about a little bit as far as the Screaming Room, as far as this channel and Kanan and I, how we met, and you know, how our shared love of horror movies and metal music and art and what we like to do and why we even started this channel together, why we started doing this. And that way you guys kind of get some lore behind the Screaming Room and how this show came to be and what we're trying to do with it. So I'm reading the chat. I'm by myself. I'm here. So if you have any questions, please, you know, I'm more than happy to answer them. And you guys always like to talk to each other. So we got a nice lively chat. Little Boozy's in the chat. What's going on, Little Boozy? And also at the end of this video, or when you see the re-upload, please leave us a comment. We love responding to the comments. Kanan and I watch what you guys talk about, and we love talking to you about our favorite things. So please stay active. If you have not subscribed to the Screaming Room yet, please go do so now. Make sure to like the video and share it. All right, so that's it. Welcome, and good to see you guys on a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when we stream. So anyway, so I originally started this show, the Screaming Room, but it was under a different name. It was called Hookah and Horror. And if you've been watching us for longer than a cup of coffee, you see my little hookah hose right here. And the reason for that is back in college, my friends and I, we were all under the age of 21. And so we didn't really have anywhere to go in our college town to hang out. But there was this one bar called the Firefly where we would all meet up, and it was a hookah bar, and we would all meet up, we would smoke hookah, and we would talk about movies. And most of my friends and I are into horror movies, but we're into all movies. But we're mostly into horror movies, and so we would talk about movies that came out, you know, our favorite movies, what we've seen, what we like about film. And it's something that I have missed over the years, is getting together in a format like that and just talking film. And being a filmmaker myself, I really like to promote indie film. I really like to promote movies that are not necessarily coming out of the studio. And that's what that whole chat thing was when I started it, called Hookah and Horror. And I had Mr. Ghost Pirate on as a guest once. And it was one of our best shows. It was one of our most highly rated shows. And Kanan and I, we have differing opinions on a lot of movies. But we respect the hell out of each other, and we just love arguing with each other over different movies. If you're a fan of Ghost Pirate, you obviously know what he likes, and you know what he looks for in films. And I'm going to kind of let you guys know a little bit more what I look for and why Ken and I seem to argue a lot. But it's all in good fun. It's what we nerds like to do. So if you've ever been in the if you've ever been in the nerd circles or whatever, you know that we just like arguing about our favorite obsessions. So Darth said he subscribed to the Screaming Room. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Terry, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And so anyway, I approached Kanan shortly after that show, and I was like, hey man, do you want to like do this like regularly? Because everybody seemed to love what we talked about. Everybody seemed to love what we did. And I'd like to have you on again. And he's a busy man. You know, he makes his videos. And said if he found the time that he'd come back on, and then he came back on, and it was just a great show. And so we decided that we wanted to start doing this, and we wanted to make it our own thing. So we started up the Screaming Room, made a new channel, and that's what we've been trying to do. So it's just two guys who love horror, talking about horror news and talking about indie horror if we can. So that's sort of the long and short of the history of the Screaming Room and why we do it. And so we want to really push indie film, and we want to talk about what we love, and we love seeing you guys too. Let me see here. Onyx subscribing to the channel now. Awesome. Thank you so much. The channel it should be pinned to the top of the Ghost Pirate Entertainment chat. So if you are in the Ghost Pirate Entertainment chat, you should see the link to the Screaming Room channel. Please subscribe there, and please watch us on the Screaming Room channel, because we're trying to grow that channel as much as possible, and we could really use your guys' support. Chris is in the chat. How's it going, Chris? Mr. Maynard, good to see you. Good to see everybody. So it's actually been kind of a slow news week, but there's some trailers there's one trailer that I have not seen yet that we're going to watch together, and then we're going to watch this video that Nintendo put out, and we're going to kind of talk about it. Any horror gamers in the chat? I love, I'm not a gamer anymore, but I used to love playing video games, and horror video games have always been awesome. I mean, Resident Evil has one of the first horror games that I played. Resident Evil scared me on the PlayStation 2. Resident Evil scared me so bad when I played it that there would be times that I would not turn a corner in that game. I would shut the game off because I did not want to turn this corner. And the hallway obviously got me. Those of you who play the Resident Evil games, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the hallway. And just they've been awesome. And so Phasmophobia is another like indie ghost hunting game that I think is incredible, that I love. A couple episodes back on the Screaming Room, we talked about the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game that just came out. So any Killer Clowns fans out there, there's a horror game that's really good. Let me see here. Forgive the reason. Another reason why it's good to have people talking and to have two people on a show like this is every time I get to hit my hookah, that gives Kanan a chance, and anybody else a chance to talk. And so there's no dead air. So please forgive the dead air if you see it. Let me see here. Leslie says, when I had the time, Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Yes, Silent Hill. Those games were great too. Samantha's not a big gamer, but the first horror game, says the first horror game I played back in the day was Fatal Frame. Oh, I don't think I played that. What is that? Onyx says Fatal Frame was the game that got me. Alrighty, so Fatal Frame, we got to look up. Lori says I used to play horror games. What games did you play? Nintendo. That's why I wanted to talk about this Nintendo video that just released. But we'll get to that. But Nintendo's always been like, they've always been that kind of family, children's game, stuff like that. Not always, obviously they have other properties, but like, Nintendo, Mario, all that stuff. Legend of Zelda, great games, but not necessarily horror games. And it looks like they've been making a break, sort of breaking away from that a little bit. Maybe we'll see. But we're gonna watch that. We're gonna talk about it. Chris says alone. Oh wait, where is it? Sorry, my chat is lagging. So give me a second. I'll get you guys up. Just give me a second. But Alone in the Dark 486. That's another game I haven't played. Good Lord. Terry says Zelda was horror for me. That's which parts? There's some pretty scary stuff in Legend of Zelda, I guess. So I'm going to just refresh this here and we're back. Are we back? Sorry about that, guys. Let me see if this used to work. Alone in the Dark. There it is. BioShock. Is that, I wouldn't consider that a horror game. I guess there's some pretty scary stuff in that, but BioShock is a great game. These are all awesome games. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a second. The first bit of news, the first thing I want to get into is this trailer. So there's a movie coming out called Stream. And if any of you are fans or know of the Terrifier movies, Mr. Damien Leone is doing gore effects for this Stream movie. So I'm just going to pull this up real quick as I share my screen. And we're going to talk about it. So this is from Bloody Disgusting. It says Stream trailer. As you guys can see here, Stream trailer horror movie features gore effects from Terrifier director Damien Leone. It says, while you wait for Damien Leone's Terrifier 3 this coming October from Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting, the team's next horror movie, Stream, is headed our way even sooner. Iconic Events releasing. Kanan and I have talked about these guys. Iconic Events will bring Stream to theaters nationwide August 21st of this year, and the upcoming horror movie's bloody trailer has been debuted by Variety today. Director Michael Levy's Stream comes from Fuzz on the Lens Productions, with the film's makeup effects being handled by Terrifier and Terrifier 2 director Damien Leone. Stream is a modernized slasher made by horror fans for horror fans. I love that. And we are extremely excited and honored to be bringing this movie to the big screen for audiences to enjoy together, Levy tells Variety. We have an incredible cast of genre greats who deliver stellar performances, and of course, having Terrifier's Damien Leone and Phil Falcone heading the gore effects, we made sure we delivered the goods for our incredible fan base. But something we are most proud of is its story and arcing character development. Very interesting. That seems to be something that I find lacking in a lot of movies, especially in slasher horror, that it is interesting that they're bringing that out. And it's not because, so a lot of times, like when we think of horror, right, and especially when we think of slasher horror, like we're not necessarily looking for a good story. It's always icing on the cake that you have a good story in a slasher. I think that's backwards. I personally think that story should come first, and then everything else goes after that. I may be in the minority. That's okay. But I think it's really interesting that these guys are coming out and saying that they are most proud of the story and the arcing character development, meaning that these characters have arcs. And if you've watched any of the Terrifier movies, they don't. And so it looks like everybody's being utilized in the way that they are supposed to be in this movie. So we will see. It says in the film, as the Keenans try to bring their family closer together, they unwittingly enter themselves into a game of life or death, with 4 deranged killers patrolling the halls of their hotel and competing for the most creative kills. That's interesting. The odds are definitely stacked against them. I like that. The cast is stacked with familiar faces, including Tony Todd, Jeffrey Combs, Danielle Harris, Tim Reed, Dee Wallace, Mark Holton, Felicia Rose. Wow, Daniel Roebuck, Dave Sheridan, Terry Alexander, David Howard Thornton. Going to see him again. Charles Edwin Powell, Bob Adrian, Sidney Malake, sorry. Wesley Holloway, Damian Maffei, sorry guys, sorry Damian, and Michael Levy. Or Levy, again, who knows. Produced by Stephen Della Sala, Michael Levy, Marcus Slabine, I think, Damien Leone, Phil Falcone, and George Struber. And here's this cool looking poster. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me try to bring that up. I don't think you can see it. But that's a pretty cool looking poster. And we're going to watch the trailer here. And I'm going to have to take this down for a second. And we're going to see what this trailer is like. And we're going to talk about it. Alrighty, can we see this? Yes, we can. We're gonna do one of, no, we're not. We're gonna do one of these. There we go. Good quality, and let's see what we got going on.
Why don't we go go away tomorrow.
Look at this. What is this? Look at this font. This is fuzz on the lens. Kudos to you guys for this font. Thank you.
Go away tomorrow. It would do the whole family some good.
Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to the Pines.
This place isn't half bad now, is it?
This inn is about spending quality time with the people that you love, because you never know just how.
This looks like it was shot on a DSLR, right? Like, and if chat, come on, right? This looks like DSLR footage. I love it. Maybe it's intentional. I don't care. I love it.
How limited that time is.
Showtime! Everything's locked up.
Every door in this damn place is that way.
So we're trapped.
Yeah.
You and I need to figure out what the hell's going on.
Tonight, we are running a game.
Eliminated.
That each of you have unknowingly signed up for when checking in.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked. I'm ready for this. It's probably not going to get a good review from me, but I'm ready for it.
Our game is a rather unusual one. Double kill. I would be remiss if I didn't welcome our 4 all-stars. It is now a competition. Style points.
300.
More kills equals more points. Creativity counts. Games are as old as the world.
We're not talking about a game. These are people's lives, for Christ's sake.
You have an audience. Blood on the ground means points on the board. Buckle up. Warm-ups are over, ladies and gents.
I gotta stop every now and again because of, copyright stuff. But are you guys getting excited for this? This looks great. This looks awesome. There he is. How long do you guys think Tony Todd's going to be in this movie? Let's take bets. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do you think he's going to be like? I want to take. How long is Tony Todd going to be in it?
We hope you enjoy your stay here with us as much as we will. Happy hunting!
Yeah, I'm ready. That looks great. I'm looking forward to that. What'd you guys think? Did you think that looks good? I gotta I gotta stop this. Sorry, I'm getting the next video ready. So yeah, that looks like it's gonna hit all the right slasher notes. And that's if you're gonna give me a movie like that, like if you get me ready for what this is gonna be, and I think that trailer really does, I'm on board. I'm ready to watch. But if you try to bill it like Abigail, if you try to bill a movie what it's not, then it's going to be hard for me to jump on board, and it's going to be hard for me to like review it properly, I guess, because I'm going to go in thinking it's something that it's not. And that sucks sometimes for people like me, because I'm expecting to watch one movie. I don't get that movie, and I don't know what it is. There he is. Jeffrey Combs is what'll make it worth seeing. I mean, yeah. I think it's just based off that trailer. I think everybody's gonna. I think it looks like everybody's is giving it their all. I hope nobody tries to phone it in on this. Like, I want to see some grade A overacting. That's what I want to see, and I can't wait. I mean, if they're building this with creative kills, and who can do the most creative kill, I mean, you got to give it to me. One of the reasons. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror franchise, and one of the reasons why A Nightmare on Elm Street, why I love those movies so much, is because of the creativity in the kills. Freddy is a very creative slasher. And Nightmare 3, I think, is one of the best examples for that. It has some of the most iconic visuals in a horror film. And I just, that's part of what made me fall in love with that. Sorry, whoops, hit my mic. That's what made me fall in love with that franchise, is the creativity of the kills. So if this movie is trying to build itself on creative kills and storytelling, I don't know what arc we're going to have here or who's going to have them. But if that's what we're building this movie as, I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. A little Boozy liked blood on the floor meets points on the board. That was a good line. Get some skin in the game. That looks like that was their tagline. That was pretty creative. What's going on, James? Good to see you, buddy. Long time no see. Good to see you. All right. So that's good. Leslie says Nightmare 3. She says, I was shook by the vein puppeteering and still am. Yeah. That is exactly what I think of when I think of some of the iconic some of the iconic imagery in that movie is that vein puppet scene. Like, that was awesome. Great claymation as well. Man, I gotta watch Nightmare 3 again. James is still at work. Sorry, buddy. I'm at work too. So we're putting in the grind together. Alrighty. So next thing, Nintendo just dropped this video. Let me share my screen. Nintendo just dropped this video 10 hours ago. Didn't tell anybody. We got no warning. And Nintendo drops this video. And everybody, I think, is going to have the same reaction to it. At least that's what it looks like. And the same reaction that I had. So we're going to watch all 15 seconds of it. And this video got age restricted on YouTube. And if anybody has a quicker eye than me, please tell me why this video got age restricted. I have no idea. But we're going to watch it and we're going to talk about it. Here we go. So that's it. And that's, I mean, what do you guys think? That's creepy as hell. And they give a link. I mean, there's a hashtag, who is Emio? And you can go, there's a link that you can go to that takes you to a website, which we're not going to go to. But you can go there and you can sort of find out a little bit more about this Emio game and try to figure out what's going on. James says, I thought the whole thing with the Nintendo is that it would never be anything more than PG. Yeah, well, here's an M game from Nintendo. Let me look that up. I wonder if Nintendo ever released any M games before. I think you're right. How do you spell Nintendo? Metroid Prime. No. Okay. No, they have. So Eternal Darkness, Geist, Ninja Gaiden 3, Bayonetta. These are all Nintendo games. Devil's Third, Fatal Frame, which is what you guys were talking about, and another Bayonetta. These are all rated M games that Nintendo has put out. So this would not be the first M game that Nintendo put out. So, wow. But still, it's another one, and it looks nice in horror. So, Leslie says it's probably age restricted just to garner interest. Yeah, probably. And it'll do that. I mean, it will do that. People are very rebellious. They want to watch stuff that they're not allowed to, or that somebody says not to. Like, that's why. I mean, that's why friggin' what do you call it? A Serbian film got as many views as it did. If it's like governments and like countries need to stop banning horror films because like it does the opposite effect, right? Like, wasn't Stigmata banned for like a while in Great Britain or something like that? Somebody fact check me in the chat. Stigmata was banned. I don't know why, but like that's where it gets all of its audience. So So that's that. These are the two things. Well, I blew through the two. See, this is a slow news week. This is a slow news week. This is why Kanan and I. This is why we like watch a movie to talk about for the second half of the show, because we're 25 minutes in to an hour-long show, and I just blew through. I just blew through the news. So that's. I mean, there's more news, obviously. Like, there's other stuff, but as far as like movies and whatever, Long Legs is coming out on Friday. Everybody excited for Long Legs? I can't wait to go see it. But that's coming. Here's something else that we can talk about. What's going on? There he is.
Hey,
there's the man.
How are you doing, man?
Good,
Sorry,
man.
guys, that I just went and ate some food. Finally been able to hold this down for at least a little bit, so I figured got a tiny bit of energy I'd hop on.
Well, it's good to see you. It was getting show was getting a little boring without you, wasn't it? It's okay, you can tell me.
No, you've been doing great. Play that little clip again. I missed it as I was trying to log in.
Oh, you missed it? All right, yeah, let's bring up the Nintendo video.
Because this is really interesting that Nintendo, because it's not that they haven't done horror, but ever since they started doing this with the Switch, they've kind of gone away from mature and horror type of content.
Yeah. So it looks like this is what's coming out.
I heard about this. I haven't seen anything though. So
all right, here it is.
Oh, dude, that looks dope.
Yeah, and it looks like they are. It looks like. Let me stop that. It looks like they're leaning into the analog horror look.
Yeah, like we've talked about recently, like that's really the new thing, so to speak, in the horror space is this, lo-fi analog, type of stuff. We're seeing it a lot now. I think it's what we're going to see a ton of, because this younger generation, like that's their thing. Just like my teenage generation was found footage, and like yours would have been like the torture porn era. Like this is about to be the era of the lo-fi, stuff like that. So,
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Especially if we're gonna get. I mean, especially if we're gonna get cool looking stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's like all of these, right? There's gonna be a lot that suck, but there's gonna be a few gems in there, that'll leave their mark, and that's the stuff you got to be excited for.
Did you get to see the stream trailer?
Yeah, we talked about it briefly because you hadn't seen the trailer, but I had a couple weeks ago and I mentioned it. But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. Jeffrey Combs, like I said, I think Jeffrey Combs will make it worth seeing, and then Damien Leone doing the special effects and stuff will make it cool. But the part that I was really intrigued by is when you read that they were saying about the story arc and all of their.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't see it, at least in the trailer, but
right.
Like, we'll see. Because to me, it feels like Terrifier, like Damien Leone trying to say the same thing about Terrifier 2. It's like, come on, dude.
Right.
It's not what these movies are about.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said.
That doesn't mean it won't be fun. I think it looks like a fun movie.
That's what I was saying during the beginning of the show, was that, when it comes to slasher films, we're not necessarily looking for a story in a slasher film. Usually that's like the icing on the cake. And so a lot of slasher films can be forgiven for that. I think that's a little backwards. Yeah. I think story should always be first, but I think it needs
to be more important. I think part of what makes a slasher though is that is not the main focus.
Right.
Like the story is not really, like, the lack of a story is kind of part of what makes that. It's kind of like saying a found footage movie but you think it should have higher quality camera work. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's part of what makes it, because the fact that there's not a ton of story when a slasher is done right, it's very cold and empty. You know, like that's what makes the greatest slasher of all time, Halloween, at least in my opinion. And then
I would agree with that.
Black Christmas would be right up there too. And neither of those have a ton of story, but what they do have, like that's the thing. I think if the story that they do have is well put together, you know what I mean? There's depth to it. It's like
Oh
there's
yeah.
not a lot to it per se, but at least what there is there, it's like you can read a lot more in than what you're given, because there's actually thought put into the story. So I think it's not that it has to have so much story, but just that it has quality, maybe not quantity, but has quality.
Yeah, and that's I mean, you know me, that's what I look for. I look for story. I love seeing MTV Cribs going on your camera right now. For those of you wondering about Casa Kanan, we're getting that in this episode. So that's that's awesome to see.
You know, not gonna set the mic and lights and all that. I'm just like, I'll just jump on with my phone.
Little Boozy says Halloween was just well made. You can place it beside the best Gallios and even Hitchcock's later works. Yeah,
I agree, but
I mean,
I wasn't talking really about that though, as much as I was talking about style of film. You know, like what makes it a slasher.
I mean, Hitchcock. I think Hitchcock has kind of been a league of his own. Whenever we talk about slashers, whenever we talk about film quality, especially within horror, like I feel like Alfred Hitchcock is just kind of like, he was doing stuff that nobody was doing. He was just so ahead of his time that it's like
Hitchcock's stuff is very different though. Like it's like I don't think that any of Hitchcock's work would be a slasher in my opinion. Even Psycho, and a lot of people consider. I don't really think it's a slasher.
What do you think it is?
I think it was before that genre had really been like locked in stone. So it's like,
so it's proto. It's a proto slasher.
Yeah, it's got like slasher elements. To me, the first like real slasher though is Peeping Tom, because that is very much like you're literally following the killer. You know, he kills multiple people, like, you know, whereas Psycho it's more of a psychological thriller, which is what pretty much all of Hitchcock's work.
So yeah, so it's like
into.
so Hitchcock was like so Psycho would have been like a proto slasher film, sort of like Led Zeppelin would be like proto metal, right? Like Black Sabbath.
I just think Hitchcock's. I just think his stuff is part of what a slasher has. So I don't know if I'd say it's a prototype. I just think it's part of. It's like, you know, quality slasher has elements of Hitchcock's work.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, before the slasher genre was coined, right? Before heavy metal was coined, before anybody knew what heavy metal was, you had proto metal bands like Led Zeppelin, like I would say some of Queen would be proto metal. I like to make arguments for that. So bands like that, you know, have a lot of like
Queen
metal
isn't
influence.
proto metal. Metal already was well on it, like was a well established form by the time Queen was doing its thing.
Well, I would say I don't know about that.
Because you had already had Black Sabbath at that point.
Well, yeah, they were both bands at the same time, but as far as songs that were released before anybody was coining the term heavy metal, I'm trying to think of that particular Queen song that I'm thinking of that is like, if you listen to it now, you're like, yeah, this could be a metal song back in the 70s.
Queen wasn't. I didn't think Queen was in prominence really until like 80, like 1980 and on.
Right, but I'm trying to find out when this song came out. That's what I'm trying to say. Somebody help me out. Chat's been very, very helpful. I'm going to bring you guys up. Somebody did check me on. Somebody did check me on Stigmata. It says it was heavily protested, but not banned. I thought it was banned. But anyway, I thought Stigmata was banned in the UK for whatever reason.
Oh, the movie?
Stigmata? Yeah. What is that Queen song that I'm thinking of? Stone Cold Crazy.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that has a lot of elements to it, and I want to know what year that this song came
No,
out in.
well, it's I wasn't saying that Queen didn't have metal elements. Like they definitely did. I'm talking about. I don't know if I'd say they were prototype. Like they weren't like they weren't because they were. It was already an established form by that point. Like you already had quite a few bands doing metal type of stuff. You know, because AC/DC was already out there. Like
Yeah, but AC/DC
you know
is
what I
not
mean?
metal; they're hard rock.
Well, in the beginning, that was metal. Like there wasn't much. I mean, in the
Eh,
beginning, when AC/DC was starting out, like there wasn't anything really much heavier than that. Like that was the beginning stages of what turned into metal. You know, it was like something that Iron Maiden and Judas Priest took and like ran with.
right. But like, so Black Sabbath is widely accepted to be the first like heavy metal
Yeah,
band, right?
yeah. Deep
Even though the
Purple and Black
subgenre that
Sabbath.
the subgenre that Black Sabbath fits in now is more doom metal, but like they're the fathers of heavy metal, right? So it's like it's
Yeah,
around that area of what these bands are doing. And Boozy said Venom. So yeah, Venom is definitely a metal band.
yep. Well,
Obviously
yeah, but hold
Iron
on.
Maiden.
Venom is another one that came out more into the same because they came out in that British wave, which was same time as Iron Maiden and Judas Priest.
Right.
That's why Black Sabbath's given the credit for it because literally all these bands came out and started taking what Black Sabbath was doing and just kind of perfected it.
Right.
So that's
So
why,
coming,
like, I mean, yeah, people can say Psycho is like the first slasher. I don't agree. To me, it's clear. I mean, not only year wise, but like, PB Tom has all the ingredients of what a slasher. Like PB Tom literally has the same bone structure as Halloween, and and Black Christmas as well. So like to me, I don't even consider Psycho in that. To me, the pioneers of slasher is Halloween, Black Christmas,
so
and
let me.
PB Tom.
I did a quick little
PB Tom came
Google.
out a couple years before. It was like 60.
Peeping Tom was 1960.
60, yeah.
1960. So I just did a quick little Google. Let me know if you agree with these of other like proto slasher films. So you already said Peeping Tom, Dementia 13, which came out in 63. Homicidal.
How is anybody considered Dementia 13 a slasher?
So it says films that are considered early examples of slasher movies would be Dementia 13, his film about relatives who are murdered one by one in an Irish castle.
Yeah, but like that's more of a. I mean, I don't know. I always thought of it as more like a mystery, like a horror mystery. I mean, I guess it just doesn't have that same feeling because you're not following this killer character, which is also why Psycho doesn't work per se to me either. Because like in all good slashers, you have this killer character. You may not know the identity of him, but like there you have this figure that is going around and killing people, and you're focusing and following that killer. You're not like, you know what I mean? You're not like
right.
just following some detective trying to solve, because that's the difference with like Giallo, right? Giallo, you have a killer out there, but mostly you're focused on the detective just running around trying to figure out who the killer is. So it feels more detective mystery than it does slasher.
So what do you think about this? Violent Midnight, 1963. Would you consider that a?
I don't know if I've
slasher?
seen that one.
Well,
it does. I've probably seen it, but I don't remember. What's that one about?
It says, well, so I gotta look it up, but one of the little like blurbs here that features what you were saying that follows like a killer's point of view. Let me look it up real quick.
What year is that?
1963. So it says Violent Midnight, 1963, which shows a killer's point of view. So it shows a killer's point of view, and it includes a skinny dipping scene. So you get
what was it? I don't understand why. Like what that was like. What that information
Well, because a lot of slashers,
had to do with anything.
well, I think the reason why that information was included is because a lot of slashers came out during like during like exploitation. A lot of exploitation films are also.
Well,
slashers.
there's a big element of what makes a slasher is based in exploitation, and that's kind of part of too why I don't feel like Psycho just doesn't feel like it doesn't have that exploitation, like grimy, gritty quality that really is what became slashers and what
Right, because that's what slashers
to
became.
this day. Yeah, well,
Psycho is the first slasher movie that gives these elements, and it's probably more of a proto slasher. That all these other slasher movies came out afterwards take elements.
I
from
feel
Psycho.
like you could say, if you want to say Psycho is a slasher, then you also got to count Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I would. You wouldn't count that as a slasher?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Once again, it just doesn't have that same, like, it's more, one, it's a family. Two, it's like it just has that a home invasion almost level of, like, it feels more like a home invasion type of, even though they're the ones in and up there, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like what turned into that cannibal, the cannibal craze, the cannibal horror movie genre. Like,
so what do you
there's
what
been things that are similar, right? Like there's, because like I said, what in its core, what is Psycho? Psycho is like a mystery thriller, right? A crime mystery thriller, like a murder mystery thriller or whatever. But that's in, like, those elements, like that DNA is in what made a slasher.
So what are the
I
three
just
things?
feel like it doesn't have the thing, like Psycho doesn't have the thing that makes it a slasher. It's just simply one of the, it's like one of the parents. So it's like if there's numerous parents have sex, they have a kid, right? So some of the DNA of Psycho is in slasher. I just don't think in and of itself it is by itself a slasher.
So what I was going to ask, what three elements do you think make a slasher movie? Or are there three?
I don't know if there are three. I mean, I think there are some things that are important. Like, you got to have, like, the killer has got to be kind of the core of it. Like, even if you're not necessarily following the killer, like a POV of the killer or anything, the killer is still just as much of an important figure in it. Even if you don't know the identity or see the face, there's got to be something, like, it's not like you're not going to call a movie where you don't ever see the killer. You just see like a Silence of the Lambs, right? You would never call that a slasher.
Yeah, that would not be a slasher, right?
Even though, Buffalo Bill is your killer, and Anthony Hopkins or whatever, they're killers in it, but they're not, like, you're not following them around, watching them doing their stuff, or at least, because you don't have to always, because I think seeing the killer do the killing is a part of it too. And like, that's one of the things that to me always separates giallo, is like, you don't see the killer. There isn't any real personality in the killer. What makes the killers in giallos are scary and creepy. What makes them creepy and scary is the fact that they're just kind of like a pair of black gloves. They're just like a shadow.
Right.
They're not like, but a slasher, it's like the killer is part of the good times, like the big part of what makes it a good time.
Right.
So you generally got to have
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. Yeah, you have to have an iconic villain. Like, you have to have an iconic killer. That you need to have something that people, that is, I'm going to say iconic for the third time because I can't think of anything else. So I would say, so my top three, what I would say is an iconic killer. I think you should have a final girl trope.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to have a strong opponent to your killer, like,
Right. So you should have an iconic killer, a final girl, and creative kills. I think those are the three things that I think would make a slasher. That's what I would be like. This is a slasher film. Is if you get these three things, I would call
Yeah.
that a slasher.
Yeah. I think most well done slashers also have like that a bit of that exploitation quality to them though too. Like
Yeah.
even the modern ones.
Oh, and that's what Leslie says. So Leslie says slasher. Her three are brutal killings, chases, and nudity. So
Yeah, but the nudity thing is out the window because Scream is without a doubt a slasher, and I think that Scream is one of the best slashers we have,
I would
especially
agree.
in modern times. And there's never nudity in those.
Right. No, I agree. But
So
Leslie likes it.
Like I agree with Leslie if you're talking about 80s slashers, but what makes the genre as a whole now, like if you're making a modern day brand new slasher, like it doesn't need to have that. It also
Right.
doesn't
No,
need to
I
have
agree.
teenagers.
Right.
Yeah, but there was a time when she was right. There was a time when it would have to have teenagers. It would have to have, like certain things. Like I think now a big thing it needs to have is like a really iconic character.
Yes.
Like a mask or makeup, something, and like so they're almost like a evil superhero. Like
Yeah.
they're a comic book character, really.
So that's an
that's what's
interesting.
it's interesting about comics and horror have really become so like connected because like I'm not a big anime guy, but I know a little about it, and like so much of what makes anime interesting is their interesting, unique villains.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that has rubbed off in comics and stuff as well, has really rubbed off on the modern horror.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't watch a lot of anime, but I have seen.
I don't at all, but
I
I know
saw
a little bit about it.
I saw Ghost in the Shell. I thought that was really good, and then Wicked City. I thought Wicked City was fantastic. It's very much like a Lovecraftian type of horror anime. I thought that was great. I'm not a huge anime fan, but like those are the two that come to mind every time I think of it. I think Wicked City's great.
Jack, are you talking about that brand new Indian Bollywood movie Kill? Is that what you're talking about? Because I heard a few people mention it, and I was curious about that. But I didn't hear it was super horror. I thought it was more of an action thriller.
Jack also says Ninja Scroll. That's another one that I've seen. I wouldn't consider it horror. There's some pretty horrific stuff that happens in it, but I think it's good. So yeah, Jack says we got to check out Kill.
Is it horror? I mean, like, or at least horror adjacent?
Haven't seen it.
This is a new movie. It's not anime. It's a new, like, it's a very violent looking movie. Like where you have this guy who is on this train and he's got to basically fight a bunch of these, like, I don't know, I forget if they're like military or.
On IMDb, it says during a train trip to New Delhi, a pair of commandos face an army of invading bandits.
Yeah. Yep.
It does look very violent.
Yeah, it's very violent, but that's why I thought it was more of an action thriller. It doesn't mean I wouldn't want to see it. I was just curious.
Yeah.
If Jack's bringing it up, if it has some horror bones. So kind of a John Wick, like an Indian John Wick.
Jack says it's not really horror, but it's extremely violent. Hey, I'm all about Indian John Wick. I've been showing Sam the John Wick movies.
Well, we kind of had that this year too with Monkey Man, which even though it's an American movie, it's literally it's like a John Wick style movie in India. It's just an American made movie. It's amazing, man. I loved Monkey Man. It's bloody, it's fun. It had like a really good heart to it.
Nice.
It was a really quality, pretty powerful story. Like that was a movie that it's like, yeah, it's similar to John Wick as in the action, but it had a lot more story to it than a John Wick.
Jamal says, "Hey, alive."
Little Boozy Bird just said the exact same thing. I thought Monkey Man was the Indian John Wick. Exactly. He even kind of looks a little bit like John Wick, like an Indian John Wick.
I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look Monkey Man and Kill up. I will look those up.
Well, Kill is in theaters. Like literally, it came out this weekend.
It did.
This past weekend.
Oh,
Monkey Man came out like a while back. Well, it came to our theaters. I don't know when.
Oh yeah, I see.
Kill was technically came out like in Bollywood.
Bollywood, it came out last year. It says.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which I never understand. Like that's always such a strange thing to me. You know, like I don't know how that exactly works with other countries. Because like a country like India, why would it? It's not like it's not like they dubbed it. It's just subtitles. So like why does it take a year to get to our theaters here?
Distribution bureaucracy.
Yeah, but you'd think they would want to get it over here.
They probably did. But I mean, it's trying to find like the first, I shouldn't say the first, the last big Bollywood movie, and it wasn't even Bollywood, it was Tollywood, was RRR that came over here and just swept the United States. But you didn't get to see, you would have to go to some streaming service to watch Indian movies. They wouldn't get the
that's one thing Netflix has been great about. Like I've seen quite a few really good Indian horror movies on Netflix. But yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of these movies will, like Netflix will get it, and it's already been out for like 2 years in India, and it's like we're just now getting it.
Yeah,
because like RRR, I'm trying to remember. Like it had a theatrical run. I don't know if it had a full-on run though. I remember it was playing at the theater I was managing at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I just want to take a break real quick. For those of you watching on the Ghost Pirate channel, please head over to. Oh, we got a thumbs down. Why? What's going on? Don't thumbs down, Kanan.
Who's thumbs down me?
I don't know. It looks like somebody did a thumbs down. Don't do that. We want thumbs up. That's what we like.
No,
please
I don't care. You
please
can thumbs down me. Just let me know why.
Please head over to the Screaming Room channel and watch us on the Screaming Room. If you're watching us on Ghost Pirate Entertainment, we're trying to get the show over there. Eventually, we're going to stop streaming on Ghost Pirate Entertainment. So please make sure that you subscribe to the Screaming Room and hit the notification bell so that you guys know every time we go live, because we're a live show. That's what we do for an hour on Wednesdays. So please go over there. Yeah, I brought that up. Jack said Kill is subtitled. The guy at the theater warned me like he didn't think I could read.
Yeah, it's crazy. Subtitles really, really hurt movies, and it sucks. And like as someone who has a hard time reading subtitles, I still push back on people not wanting to watch a movie because of subtitles. It's like, dude, guys, you miss out on so much. And what's funny is after even just a short amount of time while you're watching it, especially if you go see it at a theater, you'll completely forget that you're reading subtitles. It just becomes like, and when you think about it in memory, you forget that it's in the subtitles. Because like I've rewatched When Evil Lurks a couple times, and like remember especially the first time I rewatched it, I was like, oh shit, I forgot I watched this in theaters with subtitles.
So we got about 6-ish minutes left. You excited for Long Legs?
Yeah, definitely. I hope I feel good. I was planning on definitely going in tomorrow, so hopefully I still hold down this food and continue to be okay, because I just won't go see it if I'm still not feeling great, because I just would rather wait a day and, you know what I mean, and like really enjoy it. I've been looking forward to the movie for like over a year now. So
yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one. So we got Long Legs coming out, and then we have, for Deadpool fans, Deadpool and Wolverine's coming out. What else is coming out in July? That's
not this week. Oh, you mean just in the month?
Yeah. I mean in July.
We have a few horror movies because we have damn it, but they're like smaller.
Oh, Shelby Oaks.
No, that's coming. That's only going to festivals.
That's only going to festivals? Dang.
Yeah, it hasn't been, like, as far as I know, it hasn't been officially picked up anywhere yet, so I don't think it's coming out. Probably not until next year, to be honest.
Ah, boo. I want to tear it apart.
Yeah.
I probably won't. It's probably going to be good.
I think it's gonna be really good, dude.
It's
He's
it's
working
probably
with
gonna be
Mike
good.
Flanagan, man.
Yeah, no. I understand. It's probably going to be good. I'm just
Like, even if it would have been mediocre to start with, like the fact that Flanagan wanted to and like helped finish it, like, and all that, like that says there's something there, because it's not like it was doing Flanagan any favors. Like, it wasn't like something he was getting paid to do.
right. Did you see that? Oh, come on. I just lost it. It was something
Yeah,
I was going to talk about before you hopped on. What's her
Flanagan
name?
started a podcast too.
He did. I'm going to watch
Yeah.
it because I love him.
But he started a whole podcast network, right? Or no,
yes.
Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood started a podcast
yeah, you're right. Elijah
network.
Wood,
Yeah.
We got to get the screaming room on it.
Flanagan's on. We just need
no.
to get good enough for doing what we do.
Oh, we're great. Come on, chat. We're great, right? But
like,
Kate
I don't worry
Siegel-
about those things. Like, we just keep doing what we do, and like that stuff will take care of itself.
Kate Siegel is directing a short
Yeah.
in the VHS.
I'm actually really excited about that. So is what's his name? Justin Long. Like, I'm really excited about both those, because as far as I know, neither of them have really directed anything.
Yeah, I hope it's good. The last VHS I was not a fan of.
I always enjoy them. Like, it's, of course, each segment, like, there's ones that are not great, some that are good, some that are mediocre. But like the last one was one of the weaker ones. I wouldn't say it was the worst, but it's one of the weaker ones. But even that, if I remember right, there was still, like, I think that, because wasn't the last, yeah, there was wasn't the last one where there was that one segment with the people in the mobile home that were like, that got shot by the arrows and stuff in the lake.
Yes.
Yeah, and that segment was really cool, especially because it like comes back again later on.
It comes back again. Yeah, but when it comes back,
Yeah.
I think it kind of shoots itself in the foot.
It
That's
did
why
a little. It did a little.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really. There's another thumbs down. Why are you guys doing that?
Where are you
Come on,
seeing
tell us
thumbs
why.
down?
What are you mad about?
Where are you seeing thumbs down?
It's on your screen. I can see it. It looks like a little thumbs down icon just kind of pops up on your screen. Is anybody else seeing that? Am I hallucinating already? I don't think there's anything in this hookah. I'm pretty sure it's just shisha.
What do you mean on my screen?
On your scene, I am seeing like a thumb. It's like, it looks like a little gray thumbs down icon that comes up.
Like, over
I don't know.
here?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I swear I'm seeing it. Doesn't matter. I really like the first VHS. Second one I thought was pretty okay.
84 was really good.
Yeah, but just the last one, not a fan. So
Yeah.
hopefully this.
Well, like
hopefully
I
this next
said,
one is
they
gonna be
generally all have, like, each one, because I think it's 84 has the Rat King, and that is fucking dope.
good. The one where
like,
they go.
It
The
had
last
like at least one segment that I thought was pretty trash in that.
And-
But that's what's cool about what it is, though. Like, it's just a whole bunch of small filmmakers like you that are given opportunities, and some are good, some are not, you know?
I would love the opportunity to direct a short for VHS.
Exactly.
I would.
And
I would absolutely love that.
and the fact that they're trying to do one every single year is really cool. Like, I forget what they said, but for at least the next couple years, the plan was to try to put out one a year.
Hey, I'll take it. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up. That's been our hour of the Screaming Room. Thanks for jumping on and helping me out, bud. You look you look tired.
Yeah, I just mostly now I'm just very, like, you know, like,
Trying to get back
dude,
into it.
yeah, I mean, I'm just now being able to hold down food because I'm pretty sure it's food. It's got to be food poisoning. I don't really know what else it would be, but yeah, I mean, like, I was basically delirious for probably 2 days, 3
Jeez.
days. Because I think I started getting sick Sunday night.
That's when you felt it.
Pretty sure that's when I started getting sick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like,
Well-
literally the last few days have been a blur. The only reason
Well,
I
take-
remembered today was Wednesday is because my little podcast alarm went off.
Well,
And
take
so
care
I
of
was like, oh,
yourself.
shit.
For those of you who have not subscribed to the Screaming Room yet, please go over and do that. And
Yes,
catch us
please
next
do.
week, 7 p.m. Eastern, whatever time that is in your time zone. That's when we're streaming. We'll be live every Wednesday right here on the Screaming Room. So thanks again, Kanan. Take care of yourself. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you for subbing. Thanks for talking to us. Please leave us a comment. Give us a like on the video. Share the podcast if you'd like it, or the show. I guess we're not really a podcast, but share the show if you like it. It really helps us out and really help us grow this. And let's get indie film out there. And anyway, that's it. So we'll see y'all next week. And you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.